Just start recording. All right, fire. So let's get this started. Let's give it about another minute. Everybody should be in there already that is able to make it currently at this time. I usually like giving it about a minute for everybody to join. So let's set up here. Let's put this here to the side. Dun, 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 dun. Yes, officially day one. Yeah, yesterday was just like simple introduction, simple everything. Am I in USDJPY? Yes, I am still in USDJPY. If this daily candlestick closes like this, I'm gonna like it a lot, and I'm gonna put a little note right here because I want to come back and show you guys this little thing right here. All right, perfect. I'll try my best, Adrian. All right, perfect. So before we get started, welcome to day one, guys. Today is going to be the official day where we're going to start teaching pretty much the 5-day bootcamp, right? So today is going to be the first day, and I want to teach you guys how to properly read the market, right? Because my strategy is pretty much divided into three things. It is divided into trend. So the trend is the friend. I only take a trade whether it has 2 time frames in sync. 2, which is area of interest. Where am I buying? Where am I selling? And then 3, entry signal and the actual strategy. So my actual strategy is like the last thing that is applied. And the actual strategy is so simple, but there's so many other things that need to be worked on before you apply the strategy. If that makes sense, type 1. If it doesn't, type 2. Like I can literally, okay, perfect. I know you guys get it. I can literally teach you guys my strategy in literally like 55 seconds, but you won't know how to apply it because you won't know how to read the market, right? So 99% of you guys probably aren't reading the market the right way, which is fine. All of us were there at one point. That's the whole purpose of the 3 days. Teach you guys how to read it, how to analyze it, and then how to apply the strategy, right? So let's get started. So I know we left off yesterday on the time frames. So I want to get back to this point right here and touch up on them, right? So let me just mark them off once again, because I want you guys to use this as a form of notes. So we have these 3 time frames, and then we will have these time frames over here. Is the strategy only Forex? It applies anything that has technical analysis. I promise. I do it crypto, I do it everywhere. Right? So these are all the time frames that I use. We covered this yesterday, right? So these time frames are divided essentially in half, right? Each time frame has a purpose for a very specific thing. So I use the weekly, daily, and 4-hour to understand the trend of the market. Is used for the weekly, daily, and the 4-hour. And then I use the 2-hour, 1 hour, 30-minute, 15-minute, 50-minute for entries. These are the only time frames that I use for entries. Now, do I have a specific time frame that I look for an entry signal, the 1 hour, 30-minute? No, there's no specific one. I only use these time frames right here. What about the monthly? It's exactly what I said yesterday. I only use these time frames right here. I never really use the monthly, like ever. I just touch up into it every once in a while, right? But it's not relevant to teaching the strategy. So this is where I use to understand the trend of the market. So this is the first thing in my strategy. This would be the third thing in my strategy. And then the second thing in my strategy is going to be area of interest. So I only look for my area of interest on the weekly or daily. Only look for area to buy or sell. And this is the second part to my strategy. So I want you guys to understand what this means right here. The first things first that I do when I get to the market is I break down the time frames. I break down the weekly, the daily, and the 4 hour. I want to understand what the market structure is doing. Is the structure bullish? Is the structure bearish? So what I do is I look to have a minimum of these two time frames in sync to take the trade. After I identify the trend, then I look, where am I buying or where am I going to sell? And I'm only going to buy or sell on a weekly or daily area of interest. Does it mean I'm buying off the daily candlestick or weekly candlestick? That's not what it means. That just means I'm buying off of a weekly and daily zone. These zones are placed on the weekly and the daily timeframes. And then once price gets to that area of interest, then I look for 2 hour, 1 hour, 30-minute, 15-minute to apply my strategy and entry signal. If you guys understand this so far, type 1. If you guys don't, type 2. Everything is going to be so simple. It's going to be so like perfectly like flowing. If you have any questions regarding this, please ask away. This is the moment to, so we move on to the next thing. I want you guys to get an understanding of what it is that we're going to start today, right? So today we're going to strictly cover this. Please ask any questions. I saw like 1, 2. People sometimes do it to be like trolls and stuff. So, I mean, it just sets back the group. So if you put a 2 for no reason, I mean, you're just setting back the group. But if you have a question, just please ask it. No questions? All right, perfect. So, psychology level, important zone, which one we prefer to both. Psychology, that's regarding 2. So that's tomorrow. Perfect. All right. So we understand this. So we're going to move on, right? So we understand that the market moves up or down, right? We all understand that the market's either going to go up or it's going to go down. We're just trying to figure the fuck out, when is it going to go up so we get in? When is it going to go down so we get in? That's all we're constantly trying to do. But it's a lot more complicated than that. So the first confluence when I go to take any single trade, confluence number 1 is I need a minimum of 2 time frames in sync to take a trade, right? So you guys might have seen me in the past take day trades, take swing trades, take all these different types of trades. So let me put this in the most simple perspective ever. The most ideal swing trade is you want for the weekly, daily, and then you want the 4 hour to be bullish. For an ideal day trade, you can have the weekly, let's say bearish, but then you can have the daily bullish, and then you can have the 4 hour bullish, right? So what does this mean? That means that this trade, for example, has the weekly time frame bullish, daily time frame bullish, 4 hour time frame bullish. The most logical thing to do is to take a buy, right? There's no reason why you should be selling off of a 1 hour, 30-minute pullback. It's the most retarded thing to do, right? But for example, this day trade has the weekly time frame bearish, has the, just make it red so it's more visual, has the daily time frame bullish, and then the 4 hour time frame bullish. Both of these trades are good for me to put as an interesting trade because we have a minimum of 2 time frames in sync to take a trade. So kind of like I mentioned, it basically has to be one after the other. So 4 hour and daily, or weekly and daily. So for example, let's say this was like this, and then this would be like this. So this would then be bearish, but then both of these would then be bullish. So the most ideal is they would have to be 2 time frames in sync. It can't be a mix. It can't be this is like this. It just, I mean, you just see it, right? It just looks like it's just choppy. Versus if we were to have 2 time frames in sync, it just looks a lot cleaner. So this 2 time frames in sync, if this were to be like this, let's say this would be bullish. Let's say this time frame would be bullish, and then this one bearish. This would not be 2 time frames in sync. If you guys understand, type 1. If you guys don't, type 2. So 2 time frames in sync, back to back need to be in sync, or 2 time frames. Yeah, I think I just answered that. Yeah, they need to be back to back. Can we use this in day trading? It's exactly what I just put here, day trading. Type 1 makes sense. Perfect. All right. If you guys have any questions, this is your moment. If not, we will move on. So please, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask away. Very simple so far. Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. Super. All right. What about the high demand, the supply zones? That is for tomorrow. Today is just market structure. Did you already help me with the sync my trades? Yeah, trust me, this is only the beginning. So 4 both have to be in the direction to take the trade? No. 2 time frames in sync to take the trade. Is this trade stronger if the weekly and daily are in sync versus the daily and 4-hour? I think that's pretty self-explanatory, and the answer is pretty much yes, because you have the higher time frames in sync. So I just got asked this question: is the trade stronger if the weekly and the daily are in sync versus daily and 4-hour? Obviously, the higher time frames are stronger than the lower time frames. So that's where the grading part comes in, and that's something we'll touch upon later. But right now, I just want you guys to understand. You didn't take partial profits. We're not talking about profits right now. We're just strictly on market structure, right? So we understand for an ideal swing trade, this would be it. For an ideal day trade, this would be it. So how do you properly understand whether the market is bullish or bearish? So before anything, I want to test you guys. I want to see where your guys' knowledge is, right? So this one's kind of fucked because I already have it here. So let me actually find another pair where I don't have it. And it can be a little confusing. Let me see. Bullish. Let me see. Trying to find. All right, perfect. Okay, so this pair right here, I want you guys can see my screen, right? You guys can see NZD CAD. Type 1 if yes, type 2 if no. All right, perfect. So I want you guys to tell me whether we are bullish or bearish, right? The first thing we do on a Sunday when we pull up to the market is we sit down, we get into our desk, and we're like, all right, we need to find a pair that has 2 time frames in sync. So is this time frame bullish or bearish? Bullish or bearish? This is exactly what I wanted to see. So as of right now, it is a 50-50. And this is exactly what I wanted to see. 50-50. I'd actually say it's like 70-30. The majority of you guys are actually highly wrong, extremely wrong. But it's okay. All right. So we're going to have weekly. We'll come back to it. So you guys know, right? Just write it down what you guys think this time frame is, right? I'm not going to say it. You guys alone are going to say it, right? So just write it down what you guys think this weekly time frame is. Daily time frame. Are we bullish or are we bearish? Bullish or bearish? All right. Again, 50-50. It's crazy. Wow, this is crazy. This is so insane. You guys are going to see with just one simple example how I'm going to give you guys the secret sauce like today. And you guys aren't going to think it's a secret sauce, but it's the actual secret sauce. Like you guys have no idea. My boy Dom over here is tripping out, bro. Trust, you guys are going to trip. All right, perfect. All right, so this is not an answer. This is, and I was actually waiting for this one right here. So I'm going to put it right here. So somebody said that the market is actually sideways. That is non-existent, right? Because even if we're going sideways, the market is still creating market structure, bullish or bearish. And I'm going to show you guys exactly soon why, right? So this is actually not an answer. The market could be moving sideways, but that's not what I'm asking you guys. I'm asking you, what is the market structure? Is the structure bullish or bearish, right? So we understand the daily. So, and then what is the 4-hour doing? Is the 4-hour bullish or bearish? Take your time and write it down. Write it down what you guys think. So when you guys get back to it, you guys are going to realize 90% of you guys have been reading the markets wrong the whole entire time. So if you're reading the markets wrong, you're reading the structure wrong, You don't know where to put the area of interest. So you don't know where to apply a strategy. You don't know where to buy or sell. That's why you're losing. It's really that simple. If you can't read the structure of the market, you're not going to apply like the strategy. There's no way because you don't understand how the market moves, right? So what do we do now? Do we go to the 1 hour or 2 hour to find more trend, or do we stop here? Type 1 if we keep going down to the 1 hour, type 2 if we don't. All right, exactly. Okay, I'm seeing some ones. So I'm gonna throw some tricky shit like this all the time, right? You guys gotta be paying attention. So we only stop at the 4 hour. Remember, to understand the market structure, it is only weekly, daily, and 4 hour. That is it. We do not keep going. So if you guys are with me so far, type 1. If not, type 2. If you have any questions, please, this is your moment too before we move on. All right, perfect. We're seeing a bunch of ones. All right, so we're ready to go. All right, so we understand that we need to understand how to properly identify these markets, right? So 90% of you guys don't know how to read the market, whether we're bullish or bearish, right? So we're going to make this very easy. And if you guys understand this today, I am telling you guys, tomorrow it is cake. And then when I show you my strategy the day after, it's a done deal. I promise. Trust me. You guys need to get today right, and then you can apply the strategy. You just cannot overlook what I'm about to show you guys. This is like the most simple thing ever. This tool that I'm about to show you guys right now is the secret sauce. Trust me, you guys have no idea. I laugh because it's so simple. People think it's just like some crazy ass like secret indicators. Like, bro, that doesn't exist, right? So we understand that this market is bullish because we have a higher high or a higher low. You guys understand, correct? A higher high and a higher low is when it is bullish, and let me just do this real quick, and a lower high and a lower low is when we are bearish. If you guys agree, type 1. If you guys don't, type 2. Perfect. A bunch of ones. All right. All right, let's see if it's true. So before I go on with this example, as long as we remain inside these two lines without breaking above or under, we are still bullish. The moment we break under, we are now bearish. The moment we break above, we are now creating a new higher high. If you guys understand, type 1. If you guys don't, type 2. Okay, perfect. Okay, I saw like 2 2s. Please ask your questions. You gotta ask them quick. Time is when you say break, the candle close, or is it just the whip? So it has to close under or above the line. And these lines are drawn to the bodies of the candlesticks. I don't want to take you guys to the charts yet. I just want to show you guys here. Once you guys understand here, then we go to the charts. So the moment we body close under the line, we are bearish. The moment we body close above, we are now creating a new higher high, right? So as of right now, we understand. What do we have here? Do we have a lower low, lower high? Do we have a consolidation? What do we have? What's going on? Exactly. We are bullish, higher high, higher low. Exactly. So we have a new higher high because it is clearly the highest point. So the higher low moves to the next higher low. So I'm going to write this down now. And I realized this is something a lot of you guys didn't understand. Well, the previous students didn't understand. And it took me forever to get the message across. So I'm going to put it now as a note. It is impossible to have a higher high, a higher low, So it is impossible to have a higher high without a higher low, and it is impossible to have a lower low without a lower high. This is going to make a lot of sense right now. For the higher high and the higher low, do you use the wick or the body? Always use the body. We are always using the bodies for these stuff right here because that is market structure. The wicks are not market structures, right? If you guys are with me, type 1. If you guys aren't, type 2. We do this on all the time frames. No, we're just marking off the market structure right now, only on the weekly, daily, and the 4-hour. That's all we're doing. What do I mean by use the body? The body. Right? So what do we have right here? What is this point right here? All right, we got one right. The rest of you are all wrong. It's crazy. This, I'm gonna let you guys keep going. All right. So this point right here is currently nothing. It is nothing. It is not a structure point. This is not a higher low. I'm gonna just put it out. This is not a higher low, lower low, lower high. I don't even, you guys wrote so many different things, higher high. This is none of those stuff. This is literally nothing. Because as of right now, we don't know what this is going to do. We don't know if this is going to come here. We don't know if it's going to come here. We don't know if it's going to do this or this. We have no idea. This is simply nothing. As of right now, it is just nothing, right? Do you guys understand how that's not a higher high or higher low? Because if you notice, it is impossible to have a higher high without a higher low. So as of right now, there is no higher high. So this cannot be a higher low. If you guys understand type 1, if you guys don't, type 2. I'm telling you, once you guys get this today, everything else is super simple. Market structure is key. Nobody's going to teach you guys this slow, like this, as simple. This is the previous higher high. This currently right now is just the move. Like I said, in between this zone, the moment we body close above or under is when it changes, right? So what is this point right here? What happens if the wick, what happens if the wick is body closed in the lower time frame? No, we're just going based off of the time frame. We don't care what the lower time frames did. If this is the body on the daily time frame and on the 4-hour it's a wick, it doesn't matter. We're drawing these lines on the daily time frame. So what is this point? What is this point right here? I only saw a couple of you guys answer. Trust me, all the messages come to me. You guys don't have to be scared. Like, there's no wrong answers. Like, I want you guys to say the wrong thing. If you don't say nothing, then like, oh, fuck, you know, how are you going to correct yourself? Okay. So I say 50% of you guys are right. So this point right here, this is not a lower high, higher high, lower low, higher low, none of that stuff. This is simply nothing. It's nothing. Remember, I told you guys, the moment we break above or under, that is when we change the structure. As of right now, this market structure is still bullish. Why? Because we have a higher high and a higher low. The moment we have a bearish market, that means we have a lower low and lower high. So if you're saying there's a lower low or a lower high, that means that this market would be bearish. But it is not bearish because we have a higher high and higher low. If that makes sense, type 1. If it doesn't, type 2. Very simple, right? Simple. I'm telling you, it can't get, like I'm telling you, everything is so like gradually getting better, right? So what is this point right here? What is this point right here? Okay. Take your time, take your time. Okay, so I say 50% of you guys are wrong. It's crazy. So when you guys on the third day, when you guys come back and watch this recording, you guys are gonna realize, right? So I literally just said it. This point right here is nothing because it hasn't broken under the line or above the line. I've literally done the same thing just 3 times, and you guys just tripping out because this market structure is still bullish. We are still within the bullish move. We are yet to break the higher low. So this move is still bullish. This is where you guys just only focus on this little move right here and say, oh, it's bearish just because I see a lower low and lower high. It's like, bro, you got to zoom out. What is the actual structure of the market doing? So this market structure is still bullish because we haven't broken the higher low. Every single one of these points right here, as long as it doesn't break above or under, is simply market structure. This is not a lower high or a lower low, none of that stuff. Because if you're saying that that is a lower low, that means you're going to move this up and count it as a lower low. No, right? You can't do that. Like it still hasn't broken it. So if you guys understand type 1, if you guys don't, type 2. So we need to avoid to trade in that area. No, not at all. Actually, that is not the mindset. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, you can save them for after for whenever. Could it be considered as lateralization? So I feel like this is a new word for consolidation. This is why I like having all of the questions come to me because I could like call you out directly without calling you out directly. So so whoever asked me the question, they know, right? Could this be considered lateralization? So I guess this means consolidation, choppy, sideways, whatever you want to call it. It's the same word, right? And the answer to that, it doesn't matter, bro. Like this market structure is still bullish. This doesn't mean that it's consolidating because the market structure is still bullish. If the market is like this, let's put it like if this market is like this and we have the weekly, daily, and then the 4 hour, and they're all bullish, I don't give a shit if this, like I'm still taking the buy because all of the time frames are heading to the upside. Like that's why you guys just like a lot of, and I'm not saying this like you guys, like I'm not saying this directly to you or any of you guys. Like people use that word consolidation or choppy, it's just an excuse to not get involved in the market or blame their losses on something. Like there's no such thing as a choppy market. There's just consolidation and slow markets, but the structure is still heading one way or another. If that makes sense, type 1. If it doesn't, type 2. Like it's very easy to say, yeah, the market's choppy, that's why I'm losing, right? So we don't do that around here. All right, so what is this point right here? What is this point right here? Okay, exactly. So if you notice, we've broken above the higher high. So this means this is the new higher high. Like it literally speaks for itself, right? So we move this to the highest high. Now, does the higher low, does it stay at point 1, 2, or 3? Where does the higher low move to? Does it go to 1, 2, or then 3? Or does it stay at point 1? Does it move to point? So let me just do this, right? Let me just, it's more visual. 2, or then 3. Bro, I'm telling you, like 90% of you guys are reading this shit wrong. We're so crazy. That's why you guys are losing, because you guys just aren't reading it right. Okay, so the correct answer is 3. It is this point right here, because I literally just said it like at the beginning of it. It is impossible to have a higher high, which is this thing right here, without a higher low, which is this point right here. If you have a new higher high, you need to have a new higher low. You can't just leave it at the previous point. That makes no structural sense. Because if you were to leave this point right here as the higher low, you're going to tell me that price can come all the way up to this point right here, and then it still be bullish? No, if we break under this line, then now we are bearish. But if you say that this is your higher low, then you're saying that it would still be bullish. If that makes sense, type 1. If it doesn't, type 2. Bro, you just cracked the code. I mean, we're just getting started. Like, this is nothing. I'm just teaching you guys how to read markets. I haven't taught you guys anything yet. You never use recent higher low. Like, if you have a new higher high, you need to have a higher low. For example, the simplest way that I can put it is you have, what is this point right here? What is this point right here? I feel like you explained this. This is my goal. Like I do this as I try to explain it as simple as I can. Exactly. This point is nothing as of right now because we don't know what it's going to do. We don't know if it's going to do this. We have no idea, right? So now we have this. What do we have? Exactly. A new higher high. So we always adjust the higher high. So once you adjust the higher high, I have this thing called a snake trick, which helps us find the higher low. The higher high is very easy to point out, right? Because it's clearly the highest high. Like it's a new point above the other one, right? But if you're having any struggle finding the higher low, we're going to use the thing that I call the snake trick. So this is the head of the snake. You guys know, like, snakes only move like this, right? You never see a snake move like this. Like, obviously they position themselves like that to like fucking strike or whatever, but like they don't move around like that. So a snake moves straight. The moment you see the tail of a snake turn, that means that it had just popped a UE right there or whatever, right? You guys understand. So this is where I use the snake trick to find the structure point. So this is the head of the snake, this is the tongue, whatever. So this is the snake right here. This is the body of the snake. The moment the tail turns, this is your higher low point. It literally shows you where the snake just popped the U-turn to head in that direction right now. If that makes sense, type 1. If it doesn't, type 2. So once you have a new higher high, you have to have a higher low. I'm going to move this right here as the higher low. So we're going to add this here to the notes right here. It is literally that simple. Once you have a new higher high, you must have a new higher low. If that makes sense, type 1. If it doesn't, type 2. All right. So we're about to see if you guys understood. All right. So what is this point right here? Exactly. Nothing. What about right now? Okay, exactly. So we have a higher high. So we move this as the higher high. Now, does the higher low go to point 1, 2, or 3? 1, 2, or 3? Easy, right? Simple. We don't know how to identify it, but we get our snake, draw the head, do the tongue if you want, and then you just draw the snake. As soon as it turns, this is our new higher low. Type 1 if that makes sense. Type 2 if no. Perfect. All right. So we're going to move this as our higher low. So this is our new higher low. So we understand that anything that happens in here, it is just market structure. All right. So what about now? What do we have now? Correct. New higher high. Now, where does the higher low point go? Does it go to point 1, 2, or 3? 1, 2, or 3? Come on, come on, come on, come on. I got some of you guys, bro. I got some of you guys. So it's a trick. There's none. All right. You get me? You see what I'm trying to do here? I gotta make sure you guys know what I mean. I gotta make sure you guys are alive. So exactly, it would be 0.4. It would be this point right here. Because if we do the snake trick, head, whatever, the snake, and then it turns, this is the higher low. That makes sense, type 1. If it doesn't, type 2. I caught some of you guys. Can't even cap. Not going to say no names, but you know who you are. So this is now the higher high and higher low. So we understand that whatever happens in here, we are bullish. If you guys agree, type 1. If you guys don't, type 2. Is it a lot more clear from the beginning of it? You guys see how much easier it is? It's just, this is the secret right here. These 2 lines right here. I'm telling you, this is literally it. All right. So what about now? What are we? Are we bullish? Are we bearish? What happened? Come on, we can't get comfortable. See you guys getting excited? Gotta do it again. All right, so we're bearish. So what happens? Does this move up to here now? Does this higher low go here? Does this higher high go here? What are we doing, right? So to make it very simple, the moment we body close under, right? So let's just make it simple. I want you guys to understand it is impossible to have a lower low without a lower high. So the lower low would be the new lowest point, which would be this one right here. And then where would the lower high go? You don't know. That's fine. Well, that's why we have our snake trick. We got our snake right here, the tongue, and we go da 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 da. As soon as it turns, this is now our lower high. So the previous higher high turns into the lower high. If that makes sense, type 1. If it doesn't, type 2. Should be very simple, like too simple, annoyingly simple. So we understand this time frame right now is bearish. So the moment we break above, we then go bullish. If we break under, we continue going bearish. If you guys agree, type 1. If you guys don't, type 2. Okay, perfect. So we understand what is this point right here? Okay. So I'd say 100% of you guys are correct. This point right here, as of right now, is nothing because we don't know what it's going to do. What about right now? What is this point right here? Are we bullish? Are we bearish? Higher high? Is this the new lower low? Is this the new lower high? What are we doing? What is this? So this is currently nothing. Is this market bullish or bearish? Correct, correct, correct. Beautiful. So what about now? Bearish, correct? So we have a new lower low. So same thing right here. When you have a new lower low, you must have a new lower high. It's so simple. So where is the lower high? Is the lower high at point 1, 2, or 3? 1, 2, or 3. You guys are seeing how easy it is, right? I'm telling you, it's like 100% right now. Like at the beginning, it was like all of you guys were wrong, right? Don't get too comfortable though, right? Because we're only getting started. So this is the head of the snake. Do the body as soon as it has a sharp turn. This is now the lower high, right? So this would be the lower high. So when we understand we are now bearish. What about now? What has happened? Are we bullish? Are we bearish? Are we consolidating? Are we choppy? Are we ladderized? Or whatever that word was. I don't even remember what it was. Correct. We are now bullish again. So what do we do? What does this point turn into? Is there like a higher high? Is there a higher low? What are we doing? Correct, correct, correct. If you notice, says it right here, it is impossible to have a higher high without a higher low. So this is the higher high. So now where would the higher low be? Would it be at 0.1 or 2? 1 or 2? Exactly. Simple, right? So it would be at, I don't know. Let's get our snake. Sharp turn. This is the higher low. If you guys agree, type 1. If you guys don't, type 2. You guys got to keep these higher high and higher low staying on point. So you guys are seeing that as soon as we come to the market, this is where all of you guys would make the mistake. You guys would come here and just say, fuck it, it's bullish, because it just looks like it's going to the upside. But it's a lot more in depth than that, right? Because let's say if we were to have done this, this is now bearish. So this would be a lower low, and then this would be a lower high. And then this is where you guys would say, oh no, this is still bullish, right? Because you obviously are just looking at the overall trend. That's not the case, because it's what the current market structure is doing. And as of right now, this current market structure is bearish. If you guys agree, type 1. If you guys don't, type 2. Beautiful. If you guys have any questions, please ask them now. This is the moments before we move on to the next topic. So please ask away. If there's any questions, I'm seeing just everything is a 1. Perfect. Exactly. Exactly. Okay, perfect. They are. Just to make sure, this is on the candle body close, not wick. Always use the body. So yes, it's always on the bodies. Perfect. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back to this movement right here. We're gonna come here, and then we're gonna redo this market again, right? This is where we originally started the Zoom call. So I want you guys to tell me whether this market is bullish or bearish. This is all I'm going to do before you guys even answer. You guys are already answering, right? The right thing, which is fine. But I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to draw out my like the market right here. Like literally like this same exact market. I'm just doing the path through it. And I'm just going to bring it over here. Bring it over here. Where do you guys see this market as? Is it bullish or is it bearish? Take your time. Now, this is me showing you guys without the secret sauce, right? The secret sauce is these guys right here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do this. I'm not going to put a name to it. I'm not going to do nothing. I'm just going to put the lines. And I want you guys to just follow along without saying, I'm not going to say anything. Just follow along, right? So I'm just going to mark off. We're going to start off at this point, and we're going to start off at this point, right? So this point right here, did this. So if this did this, we have this. So then if we broke here, then this does this. So that means that this does this. The moment we body close and break above this, this does this. And then this is like this as of right now, because we haven't broken above or under. You guys understand? Type 1 if yes, type 2 if not. So you guys are seeing how this is the higher high. You guys are seeing how this is the higher low, right? If you guys notice, all I did was just this same market, just follow the trend. Like literally, I just did the structure, right? So if you guys notice, this is like a little advance. This is something for like tomorrow, but I did everything to the bodies. If you notice, I drew these lines to these bodies, blah, blah, blah. You guys get what I mean, right? So this is the market structure of this current market. This would be the weekly higher high. And then this would be this weekly higher low. It is to the body. If we were to throw the line chart, you see how it is perfectly right there to the body. If you guys notice the line chart perfectly to that body. Do I use the line chart? No, I just use it for like stuff like this, just to show you guys how it's why I use the body. Because if I use the body, it is right at the market structure point, which is the same thing as the line chart. If that makes sense, type 1. If it doesn't, type 2. Simple, right? Can't get any easier than this. I don't use the monthly anymore. If you have any questions regarding this specifically, please, this is your moment before we keep going on, right? So as of right now, if we have a higher high or a higher low, what does that mean? I don't know. We'll just bring this little now down here. So if we have a higher high and a higher low, that means that the weekly is bullish. All right, cool. So what do we do now? What is the next step? Do we just take the trade? Fuck it. No, what's the next step? Exactly. Correct. Next step is we go down to the daily. Because again, all we're doing right now is understanding if we have 3 time frames in sync. So what are we right now? Are we bullish or bearish? All right, whoever's answering, I don't know how you guys are answering, right? We can't see the computer screen right now. So this is what 99% of you guys do. When you guys come to the market, you guys do this. Say, yeah, it's bullish. Like how? What are you even seeing, right? This is where traders will come in and they'll look at it like this. Yeah, this is bullish. They're way too close in. So this is where I wanted to teach you guys that whenever you look at the markets, you do not need to see more than 1 or 2 years. If you notice, everything we've done right now has just been with like what's right here. A lot of traders, they'll come onto the charts and they'll just start. They'll literally just start. They'll start doing this. They'll start doing this. They'll start doing like all this crazy stuff. Like, yo, hold on. You understand if you want price to come up here because it's a strong resistance or whatever, you understand price when it gets there, it's going to be at a higher high, right? You understand that once it gets there, it's going to be bullish, right? And they probably won't understand. So if you guys understand what I'm saying right now, type 1. If you guys don't, type 2. It's very, very, very simple, but it's what all of the community does. So same thing in the daily time frame. People will come here and they'll be like, yep, we got a nice thing up here. We got a nice, it's like, whoa. First of all, what's the structure doing? So what is this structure doing? All you need to, first of all, you don't need to have the weekly higher high and higher low in place, right? Usually what I see a lot of people do is they'll come here, they'll go to visibility and they'll take it off on the daily and the 4-hour. Personally, myself, I just take them off, but obviously you guys are only getting started. So I would recommend once you mark them off on the weekly time frame, you just only make it visible on the weekly time frame. So when you go to the daily time frame and the 4-hour, it doesn't affect it. If that makes sense, type 1. If it doesn't, type 2. Perfect, simple, clean. So once you pull up to the daily, you need to literally see the candlesticks. How'd I lose you, man? That was so simple. How'd I lose you? So if we go back, I'm just gonna go back for this. Why only on the weekly? So so this is the weekly higher high, and this is the weekly higher low. If we go down to the daily, you don't see them anymore because the daily and the weekly higher high and higher low are not the same at all. Like you sometimes are the same, but for the majority of the time they're not. So they got to be in different places. So you avoid psychology barrier. You have to just remove them. If that makes sense, type 1. If it doesn't, type 2. So where exactly does the higher high and higher low begin? I mean, we already discussed that. So the daily time frame, right? For the daily time frame, once you pull up, same thing. You don't need to be seeing more than a year or two. Like you need to see the color of the candlesticks. That's why I mentioned it yesterday. I highly recommend you have your charts like mine, so you see the markets like mine. Because if you're like this, you notice you can't see the red or the blue. So you're just not going to see the structure properly. So I recommend you zoom in and you look at the structure, right? So a common question that I got asked at the other classes is like, I see all of this price. Where do I start? Well, start from where you think you know. There's no reason why you should start back here. It's a waste of time because that means they're going to have to go through like all of this crazy ass market structure. You're going to have to like draw all this out. And then once you draw all this out, you have to just like do it all, right? You don't want to go through all of this structure right here. It's just annoying. It's pointless. Start from where it looks like it seems what's going on, right? So this is where I would just get your tool. We're going to do this right here as of right now. I would not count this point as a higher low because if you are as a structure point, because if you were to do the snake trick, this right here doesn't look like a sharp turn, it just looks like a little pass through. On the 4-hour, it probably does look like a sharp turn, which is right here, but on the daily, it doesn't. If that makes sense, type 1. If it doesn't, type 2. Something a little more advanced, but if you guys get it, it's perfect, right? So if you guys want to understand this market structure, let's just draw it out so we can do it together, right? So this would be the structure. I'm just going through every single like elbow points that I can just point out. All right, so this market is this right here. So are we bullish or are we bearish in this market right here? Take your time. Take your time. Just by what you see, the first thing you guys would originally have thought were lateral or consolidating. What is the market structure doing? So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by here. We're going to start off with our horizontal line. I'm not going to put a higher high or higher low on it. I'm just going to do this and I'm just going to do this, right? So everything this whole entire time, it was simply noise. The moment we body closed under, this is when it shifted bearish. If that makes sense, type 1. If it doesn't, type 2. You guys are seeing the importance of the precision of these lines, correct? You guys are seeing how something so small can shift the whole entire thing, right? So if this body closed under, we will go right to it. So this has shifted bearish. So this is now the new lower low. So where is the lower high? Is the lower high point 1, 2, or 3? Oh, I caught some of you guys. Oh, you guys are letting me down. All right. So if this is the lower low, if this is the lower low, none of this stuff has basically existed yet, right? Because this is the lowest point. You have to go back. You can't go forward. So it would not be one. One hasn't even happened yet, right? So it can't be two because it just has nothing to do with it. We got to do the snake trick. You got to get the head of the snake. You do the tail back. And then as soon as it turns, this is now the lower high. So we would get this, put it here. We get this, and then this would be the lower high. If that makes sense now, type 1. If it doesn't, type 2. We're going from left to right. Perfect. So the moment we body close under, but why the second one? But why the second one is not lower, not because we're looking at the first move that shifted it from bullish to bearish. So if you notice, this was bullish until this first point right here. So this is the first lower low. Now we're gonna go to this next point right here. You guys get that? I think that's where I could have probably confused some of you guys. So if this is the first lower low, then this is the next lower low. So where's the lower high? Is the lower high point 1, 2, 3, or 4? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Exactly. So if we were to draw the snake, we do the snake right here, do the tail, it turns. This is the lower high. So we have lower high, and then we remain bearish into the moment we body close above. So what is this right here? I'm going to actually save this question right here. I'm going to save this question for now. I'm going to save this question. Correct. So this is now a higher high. So this is the higher high. Where is the higher low? Is the higher low point 1 or 2? 1 or 2? Exactly. We'll trick you guys again. So the 1 hour, I mean, not the 1 hour, this time frame, the 4 hour is now bullish. So this is the daily higher high and the daily higher low. Despite all of this noise right here, we are bullish. You guys are seeing how crazy that is, right? Like the market structure of this move is currently bullish. If you guys understand type 1, if you guys don't, type 2. Simple, right? I'm telling you, like, we're only getting started. If you guys notice, it's the same thing. It's just the market structure. I'm just copied it over here, so it's a lot easier for you guys to read. So where would the higher high be? The higher high would be at this point right here. And then the higher low would be at this point right here, right? If you guys are with me, type 1. If you guys aren't, type 2. All right. So the daily is bullish. And now I want to answer this question. How many candles do you take for a pullback? So I get this question answered every single time. And there is no perfect answer to this because every pullback is different. It's whatever looks like an elbow, literally like a fucking whatever. Like, I don't even know how to pop up my elbow on the screen. Whatever. It's literally like an elbow. It needs to be a sharp market structure. Any single point that has an elbow. All of these points right here are elbows. These are market structures where we can draw zones, whatever, right? These are all market structure, 1, 2, and then 3. How many candlesticks to create an elbow? I don't know. Some like it's whatever makes it look like an elbow. If that makes sense, type 1. If it doesn't, type 2. And I'm going to show you guys exactly what I mean right now. So you totally, I don't really use wicks. Wicks is not market structure. It's just a wick, right? It's like a fake out in a way. So no, I don't use wicks for anything right now. So if you notice, this right here is a 1 candlestick pullback, but it looks like an elbow, like price literally stopped. You get what I mean? Like it literally like boom. It uses as a stepping zone to then head to the upside. This right here is the same one candlestick pullback, but it doesn't look like an elbow. It just looks like a little slowdown, like a pause. If you notice this right here, two candlesticks doesn't look like it. This looks more like it. Look, two candlestick pullback, solid. Looks like a solid elbow. This doesn't, this looks more like a solid elbow. This doesn't look like an elbow. This does. So there's no such thing of an exact amount of candlesticks. It's whatever looks like the most like market structure. Does that make sense? Type 1 if yes, type 2 if no. I should have added this at the beginning because this would have saved some confusion, but it always comes up because it's a very valid question. And it's kind of like one of those questions like there's no like I just say there's no not corporate, there's no fixed answer like, oh, you need to have a minimum of two candlesticks to pull back for it to be an elbow. Like that's not the case, because you can have two candlesticks as a pullback and it could still not look like an elbow, or you can have one and it looks better than some that have two. So there's no fixed answer. So that's why I say it's whatever it looks solid. These are all elbows right here. Correct. So if you guys understand so far, type 1. If you don't, type 2. Please ask your questions. Perfect. I got a bunch of ones. I saw a couple twos. So if you have any twos, please ask your questions before we move on. And yes, as of right now, this right here, we don't have to see it on the weekly and we don't have to see it on the 4-hour. So all we do is we just see it on the daily time frame. Just makes it look clean. Is the elbow related to trend reversal? The elbow is market structure, just market structure. Any sharp point where price has a turnaround from is market structure. So is an elbow related to a trend reversal? I guess, but it's a weird question. All right, so we're ready to move on. Type 1. If we're not, type 2. All right, perfect. So the 4-hour is the next time frame. So the 4-hour, are we bullish or bearish? Are we bullish or bearish? If you notice, I'm looking at like the past 3, 4, 5 months. Like I don't need to go back a whole 3 years to see what this market did right here. It's very clear it went from bearish and then it shifted. Yaha, no. The snake is based off of the bodies. Okay, so let's see what this market did right here. Where do I start? I have no idea. So this is why we're just going to get our path. And then we're just going to draw out the market structure. So that's the same market. We come here and we'll start. I'm just gonna do this. So we understand what happened here. The moment we body closed above, this now moves to here. And where does this point move? Does this point move to 1, 2, or 3? 1, 2, or 3? Yaha, I already answered your question, my bro. It's to the body, man. To the body, to the body. Everything is to the body. We don't use the wicks. Okay, exactly. So this goes to this point right here. If you hold shift, the lines shut up. There's no way. I don't know. Wait, if you hold shift, the line's locked and you can draw. Oh, okay. Let me see. Okay, fire, dope. Thanks, Ron. Okay, so I didn't know that. So yes, so that was that. We broke above. Where does this go? Does it stay here or does it go to point 2 or 3? 1, 2, or 3? Okay, exactly. Come on. I caught some of you guys. 3, it's like not even existent yet. So it would be point 2. And then what happened here? We then shifted. So then this is here. Where does this point go? Does this point go to 1, 2, or 3? 1, 2, or 3? Exactly. It goes to point 2, this point right here. So as of right now, this time frame is currently bearish. This is the lower high. And then this is the lower low. Damn, I did it wrong. Lower low. So as of right now, we have the 4-hour bearish. So meaning we have weekly bullish. So this is headed to the upside. We have the daily bullish headed to the upside. And then we have the 4-hour bearish headed to the downside. Would this be a trade that we are interested? Type 1 if yes, type 2 if no. Easy, right? Because all we need is 2 time frames in sync. Simple. So this is where I would pull out my confluences. So confluences to take longs. 1, we have weekly bullish, daily bullish, 4-hour bearish. And comes confluence 2. So I want you guys to understand each time frame that we use in confluence to take the trade will be 10% for your grade. So each confluence is 10%. So if in this case we only have 2 time frames in sync, it is going to be a total of a 20% towards your grade. So what we're doing right now is we're grading the trade, building the foundation. So obviously your goal is to have all 3. Because if you have all 3, that means you have a 30% chance of this already going in your favor. So it builds a stronger base. If that makes sense, type 1. If it doesn't, type 2. Simple, right? This is why swing trading is like you win more or whatever, because it's a better, you have more time frames in sync. This is super simple, guys. Like I'm telling you, this is just like baby steps. We're working our way up. Okay, so let me just delete this. All right, so do you guys have any questions as of anything right now? Understanding whether we are bullish or we are bearish. Please, like, dude, this is taking me a year and a half to perfect. Have you guys have no questions? Like, I don't think you guys understand, because like I'm a trader. Like, I'm not a fucking teacher. Like, you think I studied how to teach? Like, I don't know how to do that shit. I just learned. I just learned how as I went, and then seeing the same questions 1,000 times, realize like, damn, you just say it at the beginning, it gets out the way, and that's it. Like, people won't have any questions. So like, it's so much more efficient. So consolidation doesn't really exist then. Like, consolidation does exist, don't get me wrong, right? So I got asked this question. So consolidation doesn't really exist. Like, it does exist, because let's say this were to be like this. Let's say bearish and this were to be bullish. Like, yes, it kind of does, but like not really, because this is obviously more advanced. This is for tomorrow. Like, this is probably going bearish, so this gets to this area, whatever, right? It's like a little complex. So consolidation in higher terms, no, it doesn't really exist. Like it's just, I would just call it slow markets, but I would never call it consolidating. The market is never just only doing this, because even if it's just doing this right here, we've gone from bearish to then bullish to then bearish to then bullish to then bearish again. And then there are opportunities inside all of this right here. Like you don't only have to wait for the breakout of this zone. Like there's opportunities inside of it, right? But that's something for tomorrow as well. So yeah, to answer your question, consolidation, in my opinion, doesn't really exist. It's just slow markets. Can you explain the elbow theory again? The recording is going to explain it very, 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 very in detail. Like it's just every single structure point that you can draw a line at. I feel like I explained it well. Yes, I mean, there's only day one. If I want to take 4-hour entries, can you use the weekly and the daily for direction? I don't even know what that means. But the answer to that, I just to make it sense, I would just say I don't know. We'd just stick to whatever I'm going to teach you tomorrow. Like, there's no need to complicate it, honestly. What do your rectangles show for you? These are my areas of interest, but this is exactly what we're going to touch on tomorrow. For day trading and swing trade, they both have to be right back in sync. For day trading and swing trading, they both have to be in sync back to back. Getting asked this. The answer to this is yes. So what we covered at the beginning. For day trading and swing trading, they both have to be sync back to back. Yes, they have to be in sync. The EMA is also 10% towards the grade. No, the EMA is actually something we're going to touch on tomorrow. But you guys already have the settings to it. It's in the last video. What are the necessary things of routine of a trader? For example, work on psychology, how much time you day, you read 20 books a page. Yeah, man, it's you just pull up and you just wait for the checklist, bro. Like you don't got to read 20 pages of a book. I'm so serious. That's not. I mean, just that's like the Instagram, social media shit they like put out there to like motivate you guys, which is cool. Don't get me wrong, it's entertaining. But do you think these Wall Street guys, they're waking up and they're fucking reading no, they're just getting up and just getting to the markets and following the system. That's it. You know what I mean? Like they're not doing all that like crazy other stuff. Like, does it help? Yeah, I guess it's at the end of the day, whatever helps your mind. If you wake up and you meditate, you drink a coffee, you walk your dog, you take a shower, whatever you do, if it helps your mind, by all means. But I'm Cuban. I wake up and I just get to work. Yeah, I mean, I don't have to do all that stuff. So that's just me. I'm Cuban, full Cuban. So yeah, so as of right now, I want you guys to understand that this is all that we need for Confluence 1, right? Are we bullish or are we bearish? So Confluence 1, so this is obviously what it is. So we're going to put here, Confluence 1. Are we bullish or are we bullish or are we bearish? Confluence 2, where are we buying, selling? Confluence 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That will be broken down everything tomorrow. Like it's so simple. And then Confluence 8, and then 9 is entry signal, right? So tomorrow we're going to discuss where are we buying, where are we selling, right? Obviously, if we are bullish, we are only buying. So that eliminates this. So that makes it a lot easier. We don't have to look for sells. And if we're selling, we're only looking for selling. So it eliminates the buying. Like we're making everything so simple. Everything is just looking for such precise stuff. Because you could understand, I'm not even kidding. I've gotten this asked. We understand we're bullish. And then people will ask me, oh, okay, where are you looking to sell? It's like, we're not looking to sell at all. We're looking to buy. Like, why do you want to sell when you're going against these time frames? Because if you're going to sell, just understand you only have a 10% confluence to take your trade. You get what I mean? If you guys are with me so far, type 1. If not, type 2. I just want to make sure you guys understand. Because this is the thing. I could get on here. I could talk shit all day. But if you guys don't understand me, then it's a waste of time, right? That I could go on this shit forever. How much screen time do you give to the charts? Probably like 30 minutes a day, an hour a day. Like it's bro, the majority of the time we're just waiting. We're not doing anything. Like what do you need screen time for? At the beginning, I was on there forever, but so exactly. If the second point would be where are we buying or where are we selling? If we already determined that we are, for this example, bullish, we automatically eliminate the existing of looking for sells. We're only looking for buys. So it just makes things a lot simpler. And where are we going to buy? That's where all these other things come onto here. So do you have a set time during trade? We'll leave that for entries. Do you still trade on red news days? I don't look at the news ever, man. I don't even know when there's news. Yaha, no. That's not part of this Yaha. Do you still trade on the red news days? Yeah, I think I already answered that. All right, perfect. So this is day one. Simple, right? Easy money, clean as it gets, right? All right.